Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm going to be doing something a little different once again, talking to some players from the Warriors of WINZ clan in Crossout. So today I got Duke of Derp. Say hello.
Hello.
I got Truhls. Am I saying your name correctly, by the way? I've always wondered that.
Yes, you are.
Okay, cool. And then I
And
got
hello.
and I got Voodoo. G5. I always just call you Voodoo, though.
Yeah, that's me, Voodoo.
Cool. And we're just going to be talking a little bit about Crossout and some of the changes and stuff that have been happening to the game and getting some of their feedback and ideas on what they think about the game and how things have been going. So I guess first of all, just starting with Duke, like how long have you been playing Crossout for now?
It's closed beta.
Yeah.
I think right after alpha came out, so it was, or right when closed beta started.
So what happened? Did like Jerem get you into it or something?
Actually, I got German into it, surprisingly enough.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. That's I don't remember how we met exactly, but it was definitely after I started the clan, I believe, or I had the idea for the clan. But what about you, Trolls?
I found it on Twitch, saw somebody playing it, and decided to basically immediately buy into it a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big fan of Twisted Metal growing up. It's one of my all-time favorite games, so having a game where you can actually build your own cars and then basically play it in a PvP match is probably one of my top games I've ever played, or top archetypes of games. I second that.
Yeah, I never played Twisted Metal, believe it or not, but I hear so many references to that game that like people kind of came from there. What about you, Voodoo? You've been playing for a while?
I actually saw the game on Facebook. Somebody had one of, I guess, a friend of mine or something had replied to their Facebook page, and then I saw it and I checked it out. And I've been playing with Firetender, another member of the clan, ever since I think 1999 we started playing together. Got in pretty early, and it was just so much fun before the Dawn Children came out. It was, we played a lot together, and then, now he's on second shift, so I don't see him at night. On weekends we get together still.
Yeah, I hear you saying like before the Dawn Children, happened. So do you feel like that sort of changed the dynamic of the game somewhat for you, or it just wasn't as fun?
I think it changed the dynamic of the game. Period. A lot of the my first clan was TAW. I was always seeing the TAW guys out in there, almost the same guys, and I really liked their team play. And Fire and I, we've been playing together so long that we kind of know what each other's going to do without even saying anything. We work really well together. That's a perfect group for us. And I started playing with a lot of those guys that have been, in the game since closed alpha. And it wasn't long after Dawn's Children came out, the hovers came out, and they had the hover, game of hovers, game of drones, all that other stuff. I don't see any of those guys on anymore. And a lot of the original great players have left. There's still, a few of the guys that, have been innovators in designs and builds and things like that are still out there, but they're barely hanging on.
Yeah, there seems like there is kind of a lot of attrition in this game somewhat. Like people, as a clan leader, there's a lot of people who will fall off after a couple of weeks of joining the clan. And so it's like a constant searching for people to stick around. But then you get some, like the guys pretty much all in this room, who will enjoy it and then they'll stick around for a while and they kind of, get on board and become more active. So I don't know what the secret ingredient is. I think you just really have to love this game to get into it. And some people are just kind of like casual players and they just, it's cool, but it's not like the best game ever. And then when they see the cost factor of it too, I think that kind of puts a lot of people off of, staying with the game. So, if I wasn't such a fan of like this style of game, like with Robocraft and some of the other ones too, Besieged, those kind of games, I probably wouldn't still be playing this either. But I love it, and then also with the community and stuff too, it's been fun. And of course, like trying to run the clans I have too, kind of keeps me engaged in the whole process. Anyway, to answer the question of how long I've been playing, it's been, I think, about 2.5 to 3 years, because I've done 3 of the Night Riders events so far. I remember seeing crossbows in the very first one, and that was back in closed beta, so it's been a little bit since then. As far as the second question here I got is, what is your favorite build in Crossout, and why do you like it? So, like, if you could only play with one build for the rest of your time in Crossout, what are you going to pick, and what power score, I guess? Who wants to start?
Oof. Oh man, that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
This is Duke. God,
don't think I could choose one. I get distracted so easily. I build something new almost every night, and I'm always playing with different tactics and different ways to play, and always building something a little different. I do like making my big rigs though. I like my MG13s. I also like the sidekicks and stuff like that. But man, that's a tough one. I don't think I could do it with just one build ever. But that's me though.
Yeah, I guess I'll go second, but if it was me, I'd probably choose shotguns, just like a Spitfires or something like that, as they seem pretty versatile, and I like playing the like smaller, speedy builds if I had to just choose one. What about you, Truhls?
It would have to be my super fast triple impulse build. I spent 2 weeks just slowly tweaking that thing where I just played it and nothing else. And it's a build where you either destroy everybody in the match or you basically get farted on and your guns are gone in the very beginning.
Right.
And
Truth.
And it's the most fun and frustrating build I think I've ever played.
Yeah, it's like a rhythm you get. I don't know if you feel this way too with synths, or the new Prometheus 2 with like trigger pushes. And when you're doing multiple things, at least for me, like you have one button that's spark or something, and the other one that's impulse. It gets a little tricky at times to like get the right rhythm. So, and I don't know if like game like has anything to do with it, but sometimes I feel like I'll miss a shot in between or something like that. So, but I do like them. They're great weapons. It feels, I mean, way better than like a cannon build to me. If it wasn't for the difference in, I guess, durability, it almost like make them obsolete, in my opinion.
Yeah, I actually had, I should say, a 9-kill synth build that I was using in PvP. I quite like the way they work and the way you can get into a rhythm of firing, but sometimes you just fire that split second too fast and it just stops everything.
Yeah.
And
I've noticed that too. And is also like the targeting, if you position your guns in a way they won't turn, does that automatically cut off your firing too? So I think it does. Like if you look down or something like that, they can also
yeah, it'll
screw
just
you.
walk out the gun like if it can't fire in where you're aiming.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely have to get some practice in to get good at this, but they are a fun weapon.
Yeah, I definitely like them. They have a lot of uses, and you're dealing a lot of damage to a lot of different parts in like a nice spread at a long range, which is weird in this type of game. So that can be extremely useful. I haven't had a chance to play with any of the new proms though.
I
think
like
that'd be fun.
They just improved the range on them, really. I mean, I guess they have that extra bonus too of 10% every projectile you actually hit with. So they are a little bit better, but I don't know. I feel like it wasn't really so much of a DPS improvement, more of just being able to fight with them at a little longer range and have that little bit of bonus, I guess, for DPS if you're hitting with all your shots. But I like them. I mean, I'm going to keep them. They're also tougher, so I mean, the main thing is they don't get stripped off as easy.
Yeah, that was my problem. Is that the like I can play junk bows up to 10k without feeling like my junk bows are just made of paper, but like synthesis would just fall off at like the first cannon shot. Like it didn't even need to be necessarily near them; just the splash damage would kill them. Really odd. You just need to drive through somebody's fart cloud, and they're gone. That's it. That's all it needed, and it just. It's my only real gripe with the weapon. I think it honestly probably could use like a 5% nerf, like on each weapon damage-wise, so that they can up the durability. It's just a little too easy to shoot them off when you're not even trying to.
Yeah, I kind of hate to agree with you, but I do. What about you, Voodoo? Let's get down the rest of the list here.
I think I've run the gamut of everything all the way up to mammoths, and everything from. I had a triple cricket build that you ran with me a few times that I used to break face with, and I've had a pyre build. I had Fat Man with pyres. I'm right back to shotguns now. That's absolutely my favorite. I run a 6 shotgun build, 3 goblins and 3 Spitfires. But sometimes I'll put a defender in place of one of the Spitfires to cover a season that I have to use machine gun or something. But I still like coming up, cloak, ram into somebody, ram into their side, and unload with 6 shotguns, and they're just gone. There's just something satisfying about them. Over in the European Union and the Russian servers, you'll see a lot of builds where they're running 6 goblins, and it's a flat little car, and they work together and they tear you up. You get 2 of those coming at you, you might as well just take your hands off them.
I can vouch for those things. 6 of those, an icebox cabin, and a chameleon, and it's pretty savage.
Yeah, I had good luck with that, and then using tank tracks to cover the sides of the goblins, so they're only accessible to like hit through the front. That's a good way to get some good wins and keep your durability up.
I'm thinking my next move is going to be lances and melee. Now that melee is more viable, all melee has been buffed really well. The harvester has been buffed so high that it is just absolutely deadly.
You know what's funny is that I told myself I was going to keep the 2 cyclones I crafted, and then I just ended up selling them anyways.
Probably
did well doing that.
Yeah, but I only sold them at around 4K. So it wasn't great, but still.
Yeah,
I was going to keep them until after after the event was over and sell them after they shot back up in price, or hopefully did anyways, but I don't know, I didn't like them that much. I don't feel like, I don't know, you said they were OP, but I don't even feel like they're that super great. They're not good at long range because they're not accurate enough, but they're good like mid-range, sure.
Yeah.
As long as they're not getting focused anyways, but most of the builds I've seen them on, they're easy enough to shoot off that it's not a big deal.
Yeah,
I think you're
How
kind
many
of
did you
small
get?
and
I'm
have
just
like
curious on the numbers you put on your vehicle. Like, did you get 2 or 3 of them, or 1?
I used 2. I used 2 for a while.
And what power score?
I was playing, I think I did it between 7 and 11K.
Okay.
Actually, no, I went up to 12K with it, actually.
See, I used 2, and I made a vehicle that was 7,400 power score, and I thought it was super OP, but I think it's just because I'm dealing with a lot lower enemies, too. You know, a lot of people...
that power score was definitely a lot more powerful, but I mean, any legendary at that power score is pretty strong.
Yeah, I would agree with like retchers and stuff, but it's not as massive of a difference, I think, as that particular weapon. It seems to me OP. I feel like it's better than Reapers for sure.
Don't talk about the Reapers right now. That's a hard spot for me.
Yeah, Reapers got nerfed.
I love my right now too. I'm hoping that they do something. Like I feel like if they just took away the ammo requirements for Reapers, that would automatically.
I was saying this exact same thing.
Right.
I was like, it drove me nuts that the Cyclone doesn't have freaking ammo requirements, but all the other ones do. It's like that's kind of like the sticker of the staple of the legendary weapons. They all they all, or whatever the hell, they're epics. The orange one.
Well, it seems like it'd be more balanced to me. Like if they gave the ammo requirement to the Cyclones and took it off the Reapers, because you spend less energy on the Cyclones and you get a better weapon.
I think the Reapers just need to start with more ammo at base. It's like 250 rounds.
Yeah.
I think is their base ammo, and that's nothing. You can't do anything with that. You'll struggle to kill a 5K with that much ammo.
All right, well, I'm going to go to the next question here. So I guess I'll start with you, Voodoo. What items did you make from this Night Riders event? Like anything?
I actually only crafted the piercers. I crafted 4 of them with the idea that I was going to make one of the crossbows. What do they call it? Spike. And the 4 piercers are a prerequisite for them. But I like them. I like them a lot. In fact, I think 4 piercers running with 2 purple radiators is better than 4 miniguns, which I sold recently because they took too many nerfs. They've got nerfed and nerfed and nerfed. They even nerfed them because turrets were doing so well. So anything that's going to be overperforming, especially the spike guys, here's your forewarning. Anything that's going to be overperforming in the next couple of weeks is definitely going to get a nerf.
But yeah, they'll wait for the event to be over first. They'll make their money, and then they'll nerf it.
I don't know, man. Those have been around for 3 years now, the spikes. I mean, that was introduced 2 of the events ago, like 2 years ago in Alpha. And they haven't really done much to nerf them, except the turning on the spikes are slower than they used to be. Imagine those things like turning super fast.
Yeah, 2 years ago they didn't have hovers either.
Yeah, that's true.
And hover spikes are incredibly prevalent.
I kind of feel like those are a good counter, though, to those hovers. Like, they need a hard counter, in a way, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But they have been pretty limited. I mean, the people with the coin could get a hold of them and buy them for a costly amount. But now you're looking at everybody can make one, and people who want to make a profit will sell them. So when you start seeing, half the builds on a team of 8 as triple crossbows, and especially if they're hover builds, in my opinion, when the Dawn Children came out and the hovers came out, hovers have changed everything in the game. The weapons that weren't considered overpowered have been nerfed because they've been exploited on hovers.
And what's funny? They haven't even touched the problem that is the actual reason why hovers are so good, and that's their near instant acceleration.
Exactly.
Because it's a peekaboo meta. Everybody wants to peek out, do damage, and then go back behind. You know, most people, unless your shotguns, aren't rushing other people.
Meta.
Yeah, and it's
So true.
It's insane that they keep nerfing everything else but that. But that's why they're so good. No good hover user is going to sit there and let you shoot them. I mean, people complain about the durability, and it's because they're sitting there taking shots. But I mean, my God, you ever play against an 11K hover that's using neon Santas and spoilers all around? It's got double spaced armor. They tank tsunami shot after tsunami shot. You hit them 8 times, it doesn't matter. Like the durability doesn't matter on a good player. It's all about how you know how to use them, and it's that instant excel in playing peekaboo.
I think part of the problem there, though, is the cosmetic stuff taking the tanky hits and stuff. They need to change that. I feel like
cosmetics should be passed through. Like everything should just go right through it.
A lot of these cosmetics, especially look at like the flare or the spoiler, for example. It was a great example. It's large, and when something hit it, the blast radius is significantly reduced because it has to make it all the way through the spoiler or whatever part it is. And those spoilers, you know, they're like a good meter tall, I guess you could say, and the blast radius is like what, up to 3. So you know, there's a third of your damage right there gone.
Going back to what Truhls was saying, though, I feel like if you have a heavier build that's a hover, it takes a while to actually stop that thing and go the other direction. But if you're coming from like a dead standstill, then I agree with you. Like, you get that instant boost. But if you're trying to switch directions, like back and forth, it's a little harder than it used to be to like immediately head back the other direction. So I don't know. I feel like it's a little better than it used to be.
Yeah, I can kind of agree, but I think not having to deal with the bumps that everybody else has to deal with, they shouldn't be as fast or faster than wheels in the first place, at least small wheels. It makes no sense that a hover can go straight backwards, not have to deal with the terrain while shooting perfectly fine, while somebody trying to chase them has to deal with the terrain, get bumped around, can't aim at them because their aim is getting thrown off, and is slower than them in most cases because they have ridiculous speed as well.
That I agree with, yeah, but that's different than like inertia, you know, stop and start, you know, quickly.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I've heard so many people say hovers are bad because they get shot off easily, and it frustrates me because they don't see how ridiculously good hovers are compared to just regular wheels.
Well, they've also, I mean, pretty much addressed that through builds. Like everything now, all the hovers are pretty much armored up. So
not so much the hovers themselves; it's the exploits that hover players find and use, and it's not their fault. I mean, all of us look for those little things that help us out.
Definitely,
for survivability, and like it's like the decor issue. Yeah, wheel vehicles can build, you know, eight squares off of their frames with decor, but you're going to bump into every rock and every little bump and hole in the map, and every player is going to stick to you like glue because you're going to have stuff sticking out all over the place. You're going to be 16 squares wide. Hovers, it's viable. I mean, you're not really going to have as much trouble with all that decor sticking out 8 squares away from your hovers and from your weapons as much as a wheeled vehicle, because we have to deal with all the traffic on the ground.
I guess going back to the question of what you guys built during the last night events, the thing I haven't asked Duke or Truhls yet, so like let me get one of you guys. I guess I'll start with Duke.
Oh yeah, just farming resources and selling them. I made 4 of the piercers, but after that, I mean, yeah, it's kind of like what Voodoo was saying. Yeah, I can make more money just selling the components that I get through grinding. Like, I haven't even been grinding at the tailors at all. I just get wires or scrap and just sell it.
You play the market pretty heavy, don't you? It seems like you've always kind of done that.
Yeah, I like playing the market.
The other day I was playing Invasion, and I didn't have any repair kits on my main account, so you know, I died, and I was like looking at the price of the repair kit. It was like $5, and I thought I was going to get 5 repair kits, you know, like you do when you craft it. But no, it's just for 1. So you're paying like 5 gold or whatever, basically, for 1 repair. It's like, okay, I can see how people are making money on this.
Yeah, but their prices will spike or will change rapidly. I mean, they were going for like 3.1 gold a little earlier, and then it'll go to 5. I think it's whenever just the player base is on.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's that, and it's generally based on the prices of how much, you know, the stuff it's required to make. And because of the event, all the prices on scrap and copper went up, so of course the price of repair kits is going to go up.
What'd you end up making during the event, if anything, Truhls?
I made 2 cyclones, a spike, 5 piercers,
Where
and
did you
I've
get
been
all the electronics?
I
Plan.
farmed the shit out of them.
Yeah, me too. I crafted 2 of the cyclones, so that's 1,000 right there. And then let's see, I made 1 of the spikes. Of course, you have to do that, so that's 300. And then I made 1 of the piercers, and I just bought some. I bought some more piercers and a couple of the Prometheus too, because I like them. Something I was kind of asking earlier, but just to reiterate it so people that are watching this video can hear. I was asking what you guys thought about, like, when they're going to introduce all these parts to market, except for the spike and the stuff that's obviously going to stay with the event. But I was hoping they wouldn't do it right afterwards and they'd wait a couple of months. But what do you guys think on that?
I'm hoping prices spike back up. I'm counting on it for some of the stuff. Like I said, I bought 10 of those gold, black gold things before they went out, and then the price plummeted because of the event and everybody just trying to unload everything to get money for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I'm holding on to my spike, hoping it goes back up at least somewhat.
I'm sure it will. Yeah, I think I bought a little higher than where the market is right now, and I'm right now they're about 1750-ish. And I think I bought mine a little over 18, but I was like, I don't know what's going to happen because I see things going up, so I was like, I'm just going to buy them now. And yeah, but I know after the event's over, they'll definitely will go up because those usually are, traditionally at least have not been craftable.
The thing on those piercers, I would recommend trying, instead of using radiators, use coolers, because they have an incredibly high rate of fire, but they cool down really fast too. So like even just like 1 blue cooler, man, the delay between that cooldown is incredibly short.
I haven't tried that. Yeah, I've tried the radiators just to try to get them going constantly, but they do seem to still be pretty short as far as the cooldown time.
I did try 2 blue coolers, and I think you get the most DPS by running 2 purple radiators because they just fire forever, and you still get a good fast cooldown.
Yeah, I'm just all about stripping weapons too, so I always go for the alpha damage or front damage. So I'm pretty much always running radiators now, and just taking my finger off the trigger if I need to cool. That's basically what I do, and it seems to work
same
out.
thing I do.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen the video of the new mine trap that shoots a harpoon? Yeah, it's that's with the new pack that's coming out. It's going to have this weird little cabin. It's medium fast, 11 points. I think 1800 power score. It's purple cabin. It looks like a little submarine, and it comes with 3
underwater
shotguns
faction
and what's called a mine trap. The mine trap right now in that pack, when you hover over it, it shows 2 points of energy, and what it does is it carries 5 mines, and you drop them, drops behind you as you're moving. And when an enemy gets near it, it shoots a harpoon and ensnares it.
That's kind of cool. I like that. I mean,
that'd be so funny.
Yeah, it's like a crowd control device that we don't really have right now.
I'd say if you were to get that and just 2 attack turrets or the machine gun turrets or missile turrets, that'd be really amusing.
Yep.
I was going to say we have a Spark for CC. Same thing for Skinner.
Yeah, it's just a little mini Skinner, and it grabs things. I don't know how it's going to hold a heavy build, but from the video I saw, it was grabbing the bots that are in your garage, and they were just driving around in a circle, trying to get away from it.
I imagine it's probably going to be cemented into the ground, right? You got to shoot it off to
just be like an attack turret.
Yep,
Right.
hits the ground, you got
Cobras.
But it doesn't stick up off the ground. It's just it looks like a little freaking hockey puck with 4 legs.
It looks like a little what now?
Looks like a little brown hockey puck with 4 little legs that dig into the ground.
Interesting. That would be interesting. I mean, that's a new element to the game. I guess you could use that to keep people off cap points, like put it right outside cap points and hide it in the bush.
It only lasts for 60 seconds and then it disappears.
Yeah, that's enough to win a game right there.
Yeah. What I would use it for is I'd make a lance build with a harvester and a couple of those on the sides and just pop them out on you. This shit's chasing you after your lances are gone.
Oh, that's a good idea. Or, as an anti-lance thing, too. If you see it, you can drop one and back up, and they won't be able to get to you.
Yeah, there you go. And then you can shoot the freaking lances.
That would probably be worth it, too, because how many times do you see a lance build coming at you, and you can't really do anything by the time you notice them?
I've unloaded 6 shotguns into a face Lance
Yeah,
build. And
on my
I don't go
shotgun
all the way.
builds and like the ones with the spark, which I'm using more and more in all my builds, I can usually deal with Lance builds now just by hitting them and moving. But you know, anything else, so you're playing a cannon build or something, you're pretty much screwed. You know, you're gonna get hit. So.
And if you don't die, you're going to be severely crippled.
Yeah.
And right now, what they're doing is they're running the Lance build. They're getting their one kill, and then they're leaving because they get enough
Yep.
XP for that one kill because you've destroyed all the parts on that vehicle. That a lot of times you're getting top 3, even though they leave the freaking match right after.
Mm-hmm. All right. So for next question, what is your like least favorite thing about the game right now? And I guess if you were in the shoes of the developer, what would you do to change it? And I guess I'll start with Duke.
Talk about hovers again, but I don't really mind the hovers that much. But the crossbows, either the Phoenix or the spikes on hovers, like I said, peekaboo meta, they really suck. Other than that, I mean, everything else of the game is pretty well balanced.
And Truhls?
One of the things they need to address is player retention, and right now there's a massive gap from when you first start to when you enter matches. When you first start, you're making builds that are like 1.1k or something like that, and as soon as you hit level 4 and join matchmaking, you're hitting 2 to 2.5k as the people you're playing against. So there's a massive difference between power, and they need to fix that. They need to reevaluate pretty much the PS of all weapons and where it sits and everything like that. Because it's also too easy to smurf. Like somebody who's at 4k who's been playing for a month can face somebody who's got a spark and a harvester and just get demolished every single match. Which is currently like the new flavor of the month to do, is right around 4 or 5k is spark and harvester, which is just an insane combo at that level.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those are the two main things that I would do. I think gun balance is okay, but the grind also needs to be addressed, because the way the grind is and the way they release pack-only items, I believe the game is ultimately pay to win, because somebody has to buy an item for it to end up on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to buy a pack for there to be coins to be able to use the market. People say, you know, defend it and stuff like that. Well, you can just use the market. You don't have to spend anything, but those wouldn't exist if somebody didn't spend money, like, for you to be able to use. So I think it's kind of a moot point. And I would like to see the game be less pay to win and less items only that are in packs, but I'm not sure how they're going to transition from that with the way the game is.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the game, I think, has a pretty low player base, and I think it could be a lot larger, but I just don't think they're making the right choices.
Yeah, the pack weapons, I agree, do break the game to an extent. They break the game to the point where everything has to be rebalanced. I think one of the first real one, at least that I realized, was the Frostburn pack. Like, completely broke the game for a while. Those tacklers are very, very strong, and they still are very, very strong.
Yeah, but they only give you 2 in that pack, you know, so even though they are strong, I think if you don't add something to it, you know, use some of that coin to buy more of them, it's not really an effective weapon. But 4 of them together, like if you make your own build, yeah, they're definitely game-breaking, especially before the nerf. I mean, they were even stronger before they toned them down a little bit. So.
Yeah, that and the new tracks that they introduced as well. Those new tracks are incredibly strong.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people running the dual Fatmans, and it's just... the Fatmans are completely covered by these tracks. There's like no way to knock them off, and if the only way to knock them off is then to be in the direct line of fire of the Fatmans. And Fatmans are a decent weapon, but that rate of fire really hurts at like what we were saying, like the 4 to 5k or 6k range. Even they're incredibly strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it wasn't for like the wedge element of that whole thing, I would agree with that. But those tracks are super easy to wedge. It's like ridiculously, they feel like they're made out of balloons or something. When you touch them, they just, you know, you can get under them pretty much every time. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, they are super strong though. So I think in that way, as far as armor, it kind of is game breaking. You know, if you're trying to build something like a concealed cannon build or something like that, it's pretty much a must have. All right, Voodoo, did I ask you yet?
Actually, the probably the 2 things that bother me the most is maps. We definitely need more maps. There's not enough PvP maps to keep the interest, and a lot of times the server you're going to run into the same map or the same 2 maps over and over and over. And the other thing is fix the server, guys. Whatever, I don't know what's going on with the US server, but I rarely get it. Even though I'm set to US server and I'm in the US, I rarely get the US server. I'm always on the European Union server, and I sometimes will get the Russian server if I'm playing with somebody who's got their settings set to all servers.
I definitely feel like this game might be more popular overseas than it is in the U.S. So I'm wondering if that's why we're, getting the EU service. And we also play at a time of day when, at least I do, when more Europeans are up than American people playing, because I'm usually a pretty late night player. So I'm not super surprised by like getting the EU server. But I don't know, except for a couple of instances, I usually do okay even with like the bad pings. I'm not getting like too many of the like loop kind of effects and stuff like I used to. So it feels a little bit better to me, but yeah, definitely, servers would be good overall. As far as other things to change, I mean, I guess they're doing okay. I'd like to see them improve a little bit the new modes they have, like for Battle Royale and all that. That's not really a compelling reason to go out and play it, so if they added some more rewards or something to it, I'd probably be a little bit more incentivized to try it out. Or if they made it a little more interesting, like, some more elements, almost like Fortnite has, like building elements or something to it. I think it could be a little bit more entertaining. But, I don't know. The game's pretty fun. And, yeah, like, I agree with what you said, Truhls and Duke, about it feeling a little pay-to-win. And I'm not really sure if we can get around that, because it's like the money motivation for this company to do it is there, and they're making money, obviously, on it. But I guess if, it gets to a point where the game's dying, or people aren't playing it anymore, they're going to do something, maybe lowering prices or something like that. But, yeah, I can see it as a problem, but I just don't think they're, like, going to be compelled to fix it.
The player base usually hovers, like, I think right now it's like 3.5 to 4K at any time, which is really, really small for a PvP style game. That's why we get these long queues sometimes, and that's why we get these, you put it on the European server especially, is just the fewer number of people that are playing the game.
Yeah, I also take into account, though, that there's the direct client, and so we're probably not seeing all the players that are on. You're just seeing the ones that are on Steam, right? Because you're using Steam Chart.
Well, there's that, but yeah, I don't think very many people, if at all, use the direct client. I'd say it's probably less than 20% of the population.
Really? I don't know. I use it. I mean, I have one account that's off Stream direct client only, and the other one I play on Steam. So it's just to keep it divided up. It seems like I log in a lot quicker that way. It'd be interesting to find out that statistic and find out how many people actually play direct client versus Steam.
Yeah, I have been looking into that a little bit. If I get any results, I'll let you know for sure.
You might ask Nero and see if he'd tell you. I don't know if he would, but no harm in trying.
Yeah, what is he, one of the developers, Nero?
He works for them. I think he's basically the community manager, but you can contact him on the official Discord.
Oh, I think I might have his email. Yeah, that kind of rings a bell. It's just been a while since I've talked to him.
Yeah, I was talking to him about trying to put in a quest system to be able to push people from 1K to 2K faster, like make it so that there's like a quest from level 1 to 5 where you get like 3 vectors and like 3 sledgehammers or something like that.
Yeah, like a tutorial kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're effectively giving them like 150 coins, but I mean that's nothing in this game. And it'll be able to push them way faster into 2K and actually having fun rather than just getting seal clubbed for their first 2-3 weeks that they're playing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I feel like if they gave players the equivalent of that, like, little cheap $5 pack of Snakebite Cab, but I mean, if you just the equivalent of like a Snakebite Cab, where you get an actual engine, you get a decent weapon, some wheels that aren't going to get shot off immediately, I think that would keep people in the game a little bit longer. They might be more willing to invest if they feel like they have a fighting chance of getting up, past 5K. Anyway, I'm going to get off that, and I guess I'll ask you guys about what you think about the new booster changes. Because a lot of people I've heard don't like the new boosters because they're kind of used to them in race mode where you hit them once and they go until they're gone. And then you just get them back, moments later and you can reuse them again. But now they actually have fuel, and as long as, you tap the button, they go. But I actually like them better. I feel like I could use them in PvP mode now and get away, like hold it down and get across the map if you need to. So, what do you guys think? And I guess I'll start with you, Voodoo.
I think I like the change. I think it's more realistic towards the game. To run races a lot, I have a cheetah build, so the boost. I ran white boosters, maybe 3 different groups of 3 only, and just hit the next one, hit the next one with the cheetah engine. The first one was already recharged, so I didn't need any more than that. I have a light vehicle, and I used to do pretty well with it. But I always felt like, it's kind of cheating, Now with the way it is, you burn up the fuel in the boosters, hey, guess what? you don't have any more. So you got to use this sparingly. Got to use them smart. You got to think about what you're doing, and I think that's what this game needs to be.
Yeah, it's a little bit more strategy. I could see like the element of adding actual fuel tanks into your build to increase your fuel time. That would have been cool, you know, and give you a reason to put fuel tanks in a vehicle too.
I want to say they are implementing that.
You think they are?
I think if I remember correctly, in one of the patch notes, they were talking about how they will add, or they may add fuel tanks that'll apply toward the boosters themselves.
Oh, cool. Was that like on the development server or something? Because I didn't see that one.
I believe it was whenever they first made the changes for it. There was talks about it. It was maybe a dev blog. I'll have to go find it. I do remember reading that.
What about you, Truhls? What do you think about the new changes to boosters?
I like him a lot, and I think it's R2A Lover. Yeah, I think he's one of the fastest racers in the game. He actually loves the new change, and he's actually increased his times by a few seconds on pretty much every map, even with the new boosters and the nerf to hovers, where he's actually faster than he was before the new change.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons
I think it's great.
I like them too. I mean, because when you need boosters to get your momentum going, that's a lot of times they're down the way they used to be, and now it's like you have them until you run out of fuel. So it's just a matter of strategy, you know, to get from the beginning to the end.
Not sure who it was. It might be Robocraft Man, but come in last, everybody, and then boost it away before anybody can hit him.
Right. And I guess I didn't ask you, Duke. What do you think?
No, I really enjoy them. Occasionally, I like to make these flying missile builds, and it kind of changes those a little bit, where you can't do it as long, but at the same time, you can stay up in the air longer. It just, of course, it's kind of more. I'm not sure if it's an exploit or something, because essentially you're building a quote-unquote flying machine to launch missiles at really high altitudes, so you can hit people halfway across the map.
I gotta think it was intentional. I mean, they had the whole thing about the rocket ship. You know, they were celebrating the developers, you know, first stage launch and stuff, and then they come out with the change to boosters. So, and then whenever you go to Bedlam now, there's always invariably like 2 or 3 rocket ships and a couple flying machines. Like,
oh yeah, it's always amusing. I do like the rockets a lot, or the new boosters a lot. I think they're a little bit more fun. You can essentially just boost indefinitely into your oblivion, or you can really control and just keep at a really high speed. It's really fun.
Kind of along those same lines, like, is there any other items in Crossout you feel like need an adjustment as far as like energy or damage or anything like that?
Oh, let's see. I kind of dislike how the larger cabins have less energy. I know they changed that a long time ago, but that's still one of my biggest complaints.
Yeah, no, and they're huge too, so it's like they're the easiest targets, and they have like 11 instead of 12. For me, I kind of wish that I could put a jack in my car without it costing it energy. You know,
oh, absolutely.
If it could be, you know, like a radar, that'd be cool. But I know that would kind of defeat the purpose, I guess, of, you know, having people flip over after they get hit with a crossbow bolt. Though it'd be nice to have one of those on there. You know, I guess even if they bumped them way up in power score, it made them like ridiculous, sort of like the large fuel tanks are so, you know, heavy and they are so much power score. A lot of people don't use them. But if they did that with a jack too, at least it'd be like a more viable option than actually using an energy for them. Because at this point, I never put them in my vehicles. What do you think, Truhls?
I can agree with the jack not costing energy. I don't think I've ever used it on a vehicle except one of the pre-made faction ones. But aside from other changes, I'd really like to see changes to radars where they can see cloak from farther away. The higher you get, so like blues, you'll be able to see the shimmering cloak from like twice the distance as normal. Whites would be like, well, I should say whites would be like twice, blues would be 3 times, and then like epics would be like 4 times. I think cloak's definitely one of the problems with the game, just allowing way too much freedom of movement for how long the cloak lasts. Because a lot of builds you can traverse most of the map in 10 seconds. It's just too easy to build a fast car and be able to go half the map, you know, and get into their spawn without the enemy even seeing you.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Voodoo?
I think the most annoying thing to me is really simple. Radios. I think what they need to do is lower the weight of the radio, because I'll tell you what, the radio weighs almost as much as my small engine, my little fast non-zero point engine. They weigh almost the same.
It's 144 kilograms.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and the power score of a radio is way too high. They need to lower the power score of the radio, lower the weight of it, more people will use it, and that's going to help out teamwork.
I agree with you on the radio. A lot of times, and I don't know if you guys have ever done this before, I'll be building a vehicle and get all the way done, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot a radio. And so you stick it on, and you're like, oh, well, I was right at the weight cap. Now I got to strip off like a bunch of heavy armor for light armor, or move things around. So that's annoying as hell.
The radio thing is a result of the. This was a long time ago. I think
radio
this was
armor.
Radio armor, yeah, and like closed beta, and I think that's the reason why their power score is so high and so few people use them.
Power score is 80 on a radio.
Yeah, it's insane. They should be like 40 and half the weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember some sculptures in the exhibition of like all radios or something like that. Like people had been storing them and just probably for that purpose, making radio builds.
Oh yeah, it was a huge thing back in CVT because how much scrap you got each game was based on how many parts you were running in the game. And so it just made absolutely no sense not to run as many parts as you could. So people would make a build, notice they had, 15 parts left over, and then stick 15 radios all over because they weighed almost nothing. They weren't much PS, and they blocked enough damage.
Yeah.
So they actually worked great as actual armor.
Wheels too, before they made extra wheels taking away some power, people used to run 12, 15, 18 wheels.
Right.
I think the manhole cover was another one that was nerfed because its armor was really high.
Oh yeah, one of Wraulin's own videos in the beginning.
Did it actually get nerfed? Because it still seems like it's 34 structure. I mean, they're heavier, I think, than they used to be, but their armor's still there.
Yeah. And then I've got the 12 of those little tiny plates that I run on my fast pulse build.
Mm-hmm.
The ones the flaps that open up or whatever.
Oh yeah, I love those. The lids.
Yeah, because they'll actually take a hit and leave the pass-through armor on there, because the pass-through armor technically didn't get hit itself, so it works perfect.
I use them as mud flaps.
Yeah, they're cool.
And I do use them as skid plates too. I put them underneath the vehicle in front of frame pieces. They will hang down, and yeah, they'll hit the ground first. They do pop back up, but they'll allow you to get over something if you have a really low profile build, like with those stallion wheels.
Yeah,
Turnstone uses them as a chick magnet.
What do you think about the new Battle Royale mode? It's kind of my final question. And are you guys actually playing it, or are you just ignoring it altogether when it's out? I guess Voodoo?
Actually, I played one match Battle Royale and didn't like it. I think there are tons of games out there that are based on a Battle Royale type of thing. Maybe a lot of people like it. I'm sure people are enjoying the rewards, and there are people actually out there that are very good. I've watched your video. You did very well on a couple of your matches.
Disclaimer: I'm not very good at that mode, though. It's like, how many times I lost to get a good win video. Yeah, it was a grind. I did, get my.
I'll talk about that.
I did get my badge, but when I first started, I was pretty shit at it. And then later on, I got good. I got much better than I used to be because I kind of know where things are now. And but after I got my little portrait, I was like, I'm done, for a while until they come out with some real rewards, which I actually have one now. You can get some kind of crate, but the thing is, you got to win 9 matches or get the top 4 in the 9 matches, and so it's kind of a big
not even enticing to me. I'll stick to what I do, what I like.
Yeah, pretty much the same. So, what about you, Truhls? What do you think?
I played 2 matches and I was done. I didn't think it was worth playing, which is sad. I played, Battle Royale PUBG professionally for a year on an actual pro team for a little while. And so I love Battle Royale games, but it's not fun in Crossout, in my opinion. And
it needs another element. Yeah, I agree with you. It needs something unique to it, because it feels like you're kind of stuck on the ground. It's hard to even dodge a shot.
Yeah, they made it so that you're very tiny and very weak, which I'm not fond of. If I'm going to be playing that, I want to be able to, gear up and get really strong. And you just never really do that other than your weapons. And I don't know. Like I said,
well, there is actually armor. You can get armor. So
yeah, but it only works when they actually hit it. So if they're just aiming for your cap, which everyone was, it doesn't do anything. So especially considering the best way to play a Battle Royale game is generally not to take fights. You only take a fight if you have to.
Right.
Which I think is basically contradicts this whole game. I'd rather be able to get in, get kills, and if I'm doing well, I should get complimented for it. One of the games I got 7 kills in and basically died and got nothing.
Duke, what about you?
I personally don't play those style of games. I burnt out on them long ago. I used to play the Arma 2 and Arma 3 King of the Hill for Last Man Standing mod, and we played that a lot. And you know, the PUBG and the Fortnite. I guess Fortnite's a little different, but all those are kind of just exact clones of a game I've had thousands of hours in. So yeah, don't play it.
Personally, I wouldn't shed a tear if they got rid of the Battle Royale mode, because I'm not really here to play that. You know, I started for Crossout, and that's like my primary game and what I enjoy doing, PvP mostly. And raids somewhat too, though. I'm kind of enjoying raids a little bit less than I used to, because I personally was a fan of fast raids. I know the new ones are maybe better, more interesting, because there's more dynamics, and you know, unlocking doors and stuff with these bombs is kind of, I guess, more interesting. But the time it takes to grind through 5 raids is, you know, exponentially more. So I guess my question on this is just like, are you a fan of fast raids, or do you like the new raids? So I guess I'll start with you, Duke.
Well, I do like the new raids, but yeah, they do take a little bit more time, and because it takes more time, I guess you're killing more, you're getting a little bit more XP, so you're getting a little bit more return in the end. But instead of, you used to get in these like raids that would take, you know, 5 minutes, you get 6 pieces of copper in an easy raid. Now you get 8. So it's like risk rewards really not all that worth it. With the easy raid, medium raids, I think is where it's at. And hard raids are kind of fun. So that's kind of like my standing on it.
They're definitely challenging. The hard raids. I mean, there's plenty of times I failed on those recently, and before hard raids used to be kind of a joke.
Oh, that, and with the real thing I think was kind of interesting with the change is how your power score adjusts the enemies that you face.
Yeah, I like that too.
If you take, I do like that, because I found out it's a little more fun to take a 6K or even a 5K into these raids, because it'll scale your enemies to that. It's quite nice. It's a little easier to kill. If you're taking a 9 or 10K, you're sitting there shooting things, which is basically just a cabin and one machine gun for like a minute just to kill it. It's annoying.
Yeah. What about you, Truhls? I guess fast raids or the new ones?
I would take the past raids every day. Like, I don't like anything about the new ones. I don't think they change enough to really make them interesting. It's basically the same stuff we had before. The only thing they did is make it more difficult and take longer, and didn't increase the rewards enough to actually compensate. Overall, it was just a big nerf in time and how much you get compared to how much you were doing before.
I like the time it took to do the old raids, but the complexity and like some of the detail I like in the new ones, if they could just speed things up and like have the time it takes to actually complete a raid, I'd be more on board. But some of the back and forth on the map feels kind of ridiculous on some of these. Like
Perimeter Breach. I was gonna say Perimeter Breach is really the only one I thought was interesting. They actually made it interesting. The other ones are just, you know, the same old pump jack, do this, do that kind of stuff. I don't think Frontier Defense is very interesting. I don't think just adding turrets that you upgrade changes anything. It's still just defend the pump jack. And same goes for any of the other ones. They didn't really change anything, in my opinion, or add anything new. It was just a slight variation plus a nerf.
Dudu, what do you think?
I actually love them. I'm in one right now, actually. I love the fact that it takes a lot more teamwork to do different ones. There is definitely strategies to every different one, and if you don't know the strategy, then it keeps you second guessing. There's a lot of back and forth. The resource nerf, it does hurt, but I enjoy playing them. I enjoy the teamwork in them. Some of the best times I've had is when 4 of us in the clan run a lot of these newer raids, and even if we lose, we're still having a ball. And I think that's basically what it is. The game is supposed to be fun, and it seems we have more fun when teamwork is involved and we accomplish something. We get a better sense of accomplishment better than running a quick 3 to 5 minute raid. One of them you should run 2 guys as a runner, because and 2 guys as defenders, because you got to defend the pump jack, and you've also got to get over there.
Yeah, the War of Fires, that one. Yeah, that's a fun one to play. I do enjoy that one.
Well, one thing I definitely like about it is like clan play has been a lot, I guess, more fun in a way with them. But I still don't like how long it take. It take way too long. One thing it has changed though is I've been playing a lot more Invasion than I used to get copper. So, and I actually like Invasion now. I feel like it's easier than it used to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was in like 555 or 5700 power score build. It was pretty good. It was pretty fast, and I enjoyed it.
Well, I guess I'm going to kind of wrap this up here. We've been talking for a while. I'll give you guys an opportunity if you want to plug anything, or you got anything, special shout-outs or something you want to say to somebody.
I'd like to say that we have room in the WINZ clan with the Z. I think we should need to fill that up.
Yeah, we got, 4 slots now? But, yeah, definitely thanks for the reminder on that. So, WINZ Clan's recruiting. You have to get a hold of me if you're looking to get into a clan situation. I'm usually on account name Wraulin or Gramblur, which is the other account I have for the WINZ with the Z. And I guess I'll throw that down in the description below. Duke or Truhls, you got anything?
Yeah, I just would like to make fun of Germ for not being here right now. Apparently, he's doing responsible adult things. So, bye, you're not here.
He's not doing responsible adult things. I see him playing The Sims right now. Look at his status.
Oh, that's his kid.
Okay. I was gonna be like The Sims. Come on, Jared.
I'd ridicule him if he was playing The Sims.
I have so many games that I'm not playing that I feel like I need to at least give those a shake before I buy some other, blockbuster title that I'm never going to play. I'm just going to sit on the shelf. I keep thinking to myself, like, I want to try out Warframe too. It's another free-to-play that has a big following.
Absolutely. I have a full dojo whenever you want to join up the way you might play.
Do you have your own clan going in Voodoo?
Well, it's a clan of 3 people.
Okay.
But I've got every lab built and the whole dojo's all full. Everything you need to build is in it.
Yeah, Warframe's a great game. It's kind of grindy, kind of like this game, except it's way easier to make money at, in my opinion. And the grind doesn't feel anywhere near as bad.
Yeah, and there's a huge learning curve to the parkour system. But as long as you got someone to teach you, my kid was 12 years old when he taught me, and now I can zip around like a freaking space ninja.
Space ninja.
I got a new space ninja, like a robotic space ninja. Isn't that the whole premise of the game?
Yeah, basically you're a parkour space ninja. I mean, you can. There's ways to jump really high, stick to the walls, and shoot while you're stuck to the walls. You're like hanging onto a wall or
Spooderman.
Okay, so you're really into it.
Been doing it for about 5 years.
Yeah, I heard that game changed a lot too. They've improved it in a lot of positive ways from the reviews I've seen online. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Thank you very much for checking out this episode, and please thumbs this up if you enjoyed this conversation, and feel free to chime in on any of those questions I asked earlier. Love to get a conversation rolling here in the chat. Special thank you to Voodoo, Duke of Derp, and Truhls for joining me in this episode, and I look forward to seeing you guys in some more upcoming videos here on the Gamerguide channel. Later!